Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today I have on Lilian, and she's here to share a story with us today, too.
I would like to tell you how my burnout led to curiosity and how I needed to hit bottom in order to figure it out how I would rather live the other half of my life. I just turned 45, and in the past year or so, I have been really thinking about what that means for me because I came here as an immigrant to the United States and I worked really hard for everything that I wanted in the past 21 years that I have been in this country. But I didn't want to keep going on the same pace that I was because I wanted and I deserved more ease in my life. When you were so used to working hard and living your life in a way that you are pretty much a marching soldier, it's really challenging to look around and figure it out that you can change the tone and you can change the pace. And I have a business. I have owned a branding company for the past 9 years. And having the business was even another excuse for me to keep telling myself that I needed to work hard. All these years of working really hard, studying, looking for ways to improve myself with no empathy for myself at all, I have to say, led to burnout. It led to getting to a point where I kept marching and I kept walking without any regard for my body and for my mental health. So, the year of 2024 was really hard. It was already a year that I arrived in shambles because I was dealing with infertility issues. I was dealing with a little bit of a midlife crisis. I was in the middle of a construction of a house in my hometown in Brazil. So when I started 2024, I didn't see that I needed to start fresh. It was just the beginning of my crumble in a way that I could, like, I needed more time. And I guess the universe had to show me in a hard way how I could shift this, otherwise, I would pretty much die. Um, by the middle of 2024, I started having all kind of issues with my health. I was getting a lot of colds that would never be completely cured. I got a case of COVID that almost killed me. I like was in bed for a month. I could barely talk. I had a lot of mental health issues. I was depressed, and and I could not realize 100% that I needed to rest. And then my body shut down. And I started revisiting this. And mind you, I had a therapist the whole time. Imagine if I didn't have anybody. My therapist kept telling me, you need to rest, you need to revisit your business, you need to figure it out how you want to live the rest of your life, because otherwise you will want to cut your life short, pretty much. So we led like that, August, September. When October came, I could barely think. By November, I was in bed again. So I decided to take the whole month, half of my month of November and the entire month of December, to don't work at all. It turned out that I could figure it out. I could delegate more, which is something that, as women especially, we have a big problem delegating. I decided that I would delegate my business for the rest of the year and I would think how I could live my life with a little bit more lightness and with a little bit more joy. Because when you work too hard on yourself, you forget joy. And without joy, your inner child cannot survive and cannot flourish. And what is the point of life without happiness and without joy? It was during this time, usually December is when I start thinking about the word of the year for me. My word for 2024 was flow. And of course, it didn't flow at all. It was like I didn't let it flow. So I decided to go, instead of finding a word that would be very inspiring and grown up, I decided to lead with my inner child and find a word that would find me halfway, that would let me meet my inner child halfway. And that word was curiosity. And I am so glad that I picked curiosity because I didn't realize until then how much I missed myself. I really missed being in touch with my real self because when you start trying to impress people, you become somebody that you are not. I came to this country, I wanted to be somebody, and now I just want to come back to myself. So, how is the year of curiosity coming up for me? I came home one day, I would say 2 years ago, with a huge box full of all my diaries from beginning when I was 9 years old until I was 22 years old. And this box was just like in a dark closet somewhere in my house. Since then, like I led with curiosity and I decided to open this box and reconnect with my inner child and reconnect with my past life in Brazil. And I started writing again. I've always had this passion for writing. I have been reading my diaries and I created a series called From the Beginning, where I explore myself, like beginning, which like every year. I am writing right now about 1998, when the year I turned 18. And because I am reading this diary, I am deeply connected with the person that I was back then. And I'm writing music, I'm writing poetry, I am writing stories based on that. I am more curious about what my body can do. Maybe all these old stories, oh, you cannot do yoga, oh, you are not flexible. How about we try? How about we go out there and we try different things? I've been trying different things with my body. I have been having conversations that I have been avoiding, and that has been deeply healing for me. I have been befriending people that I never thought that we would have something in common, and turned out that we do. And I just keep going, like exploring different things that have not been on my radar. But what is possible if you just put down all your beliefs and look around to what can be good for you, and what maybe like sometimes one experience that you have can open all these other doors. And I am so glad that I have been doing this year. It completely changed the way I do things. And I vow to myself that for the next 10 years, curiosity is going to be the arc. And all the words of the year are going to be aligned with curiosity, because I finally found my inner child again, and I'm not gonna let her go this time.
It was a beautiful story, Lillian. Thank you so much for sharing that. When you were mentioning curiosity as your word of the year, I did have the thought that curiosity is kind of a lifestyle. And I love how
Yes,
you ended that, that it's going to be your word of the decade, I guess, now. And then it will be the underlying theme of kind of everything you do going forward, right?
yes, absolutely. Is curiosity and joy. I will do my best to. I have a kind of a serious, studious personality. So it doesn't come, you know how some people it's just how they are. Like I have friends that we get to a park, they are 40 something, they go climb trees. This is not me, you know? But I get to incorporate that because that adds the lightness and the the happiness that you need to have as the underline of your life.
I totally agree, and I can relate to that completely because I feel the same way about me. Like, I wish that I was more fun. I have so many friends that are so full of life, and I'm like, I wish I could be a little bit more like them. But you're right, just experience or just living life with curiosity and just looking at everything with curious eyes, I think can really start to open those doors for us. I'm really intrigued by your diaries that you kept when you were younger. I think that's so fascinating because that is your basically the most transformative years of your life, like when you're 10 to 22, you said? That's crazy. So when you are reviewing these, are you noticing that were you a different person? Are you still the same person? Like, did you have to suppress this person and now you're trying to become this person again?
Yes, I feel that my core is the same. A lot of the questions, like, when you were 18, 17, you were not that deep necessarily, but as I read, I understand the environment that I was in, the people that I used to hang out with, the things, the questions that I used to ask myself. It's pretty much the same person. I am very proud of that girl. That girl, like, she pushed me to be where I am right now. All the dreams that I had to become like this woman that I am right now. However, I didn't give her all the space that I could. There are a lot of hobbies that I let go in order to work more and to become somebody that I thought that would be more successful. So I am like, for example, poetry. I have a bachelor's of arts, pretty much literature and languages. So I was completely obsessed by that. And I am bringing this back into my life. I opened a new Substack. I started writing there. And I want to keep this going because I feel that when I give space for writing, when I give space to like, I used to write silly songs and like every time I would get a crush, I would write a song about it, all these things as a teenager. I'm doing this again for different situations and that's the bread for my soul that has been missing, and I am no longer pushing this under the bed. I want this girl to be fully here. And yes, maybe a little wiser. I have more experience under my belt. I own a company. There are so many things going on, but they get to be added as layers, not removing the other person completely. We cannot erase our our base. We are that person, and it like everything else. It's like clothes. Like we are adding those levels that we get to show them or not, depending on the situation that we are. Of course, if we are professional, we are not going to get like all silly all the time. But there are times that we get to be our full selves, and I'm like our inner child. They thank us for that.
Have you been able to bring the curiosity and the creativity into your work as well?
Absolutely. Especially nowadays when we have so many tools. I believe in AI mostly as a tool for creativity other than replacing a position on replacing your thinking. So using AI has been for me one of the ways to lead with creativity in my company, especially because I work with some beauty companies that need packaging, so the way that you reimagine a texture of a leaf, of a banana leaf, for example, with AI so that it can become something that you can touch on the packaging, all these little things that sometimes you start brainstorming, but then as you do your research, you cannot, it's limited what you can find. And when you work with AI, you can hear about other sources and how people in different corners of the world are doing things, and then integrating this if it makes sense to your work.
Mhm.
And not only that, sometimes companies come to me and they think they want one thing that is in a very specific box, and I get to like open up the box completely and show them, look around. There are so many other things that we can do in order to show your personality and show who you are. And that's beautiful. Like sometimes you get to hold people's hands and show them other things that they are not used to. And I also want other people to do that for me. We can only know like enough. And like I always welcome other people's perspectives in order to add to my creativity and to my curiosity.
Because you don't know what you don't know. It's just like your blind spot. You
Exactly.
have no idea what is,
Yeah.
what's not. How does someone that's not used to thinking in a curiosity mindset start to incorporate more of that into their work and or just daily life?
Oh, that's a very interesting question, and I am glad that you asked. When I started this journey in the end of the year, I was so dry, so dry. I could not do anything. I was crying every day, and I didn't even know how to move past that space. So I thought to myself, if you can find one activity that brings you a little bit of joy, and from there, maybe you can find like the doors will start open little by little for you. For me, that was coloring. I do a lot of like, I have tons. This entire chair here is full of coloring books.
Okay.
So I start coloring books um to show, to like, just have a little joy. These ones are actually empty because I just bought them. But just that coloring, I started coloring things like silly trees, girls, pumpkins, and little by little, I started also doodling a little bit, and then I started creating song lyrics. So one thing sparked another one and another one. You are not going to open a gate and things will flood to you because you were dry. You might be dry, but if you let a little thing start trickling, then you are going to see the volume of the water start upping a little bit, and then things just start flow in a normal pace for you. But if you can find one thing that might lead to curiosity and creativity, maybe you go on a walk, maybe you are not used to going on a walk, and instead of bringing your phone and listening to music, listen to the birds. Or maybe you go to a yoga class or a meditation class. Maybe you want to cook. I sometimes I find that if I want to just rest my nervous system. I'm not a great cook, but I still go to the kitchen. I start thinking what my grandmother used to cook with me when I was a child. And I start recreating those recipes. And then I sit down, I invite a friend, we talk about the recipe, we eat the cake. And these little things, they add up.
So I guess my next question would be, is this a daily practice for you, or does it become a daily practice, or is this just like, is it like meditation kind of where you just like, as soon as you notice, you just kind of tune in? How does it work to start to build it a little bit more?
In all honesty, in the beginning, I forced myself to sit on this very desk and color. Every day at 6 a.m., I would sit here and I would color. Like I wanted to start creating a habit, and it worked. But everybody's different, right? And now I don't color every day, but every day I do something creative, or at least I do a little meditation for 5 minutes in the morning, and I let that be if my day is a little hectic. But if you can find a little something, even if it's 2 minutes every day to take care of your soul, to feed your creativity, I highly recommend it because it's your sacred space.
I relate to what you said about feeling like dry and trying to find the things that kind of light you up and bring you the joy and make you feel like you're living again. So lately for me, that has been dance and this podcasting. But dance especially because it also gets the body moving as well. And I'm sure you know, like anytime you get your body moving, you can also just physically shake off the feelings
Energy.
that we might not want.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I was having a really hard time with work in early spring, and I actually made the decision to dance less because I was so stressed out with work. But this is a great reminder that even if I feel stressed and there's no time on the calendar and I'm just completely overwhelmed, if it's giving me energy or not giving me energy, if it's like filling my, life and fun cup, it should also be prioritized, even if I'm tired and I don't feel like going at the beginning.
You feel that especially when you are tired and you are not feeling it. And I hear you. I have this, I try to do at least half an hour of like, I am old fashioned. I love a DVD on the TV, half an hour, like a cardio. And when I'm exhausted and cranky, I really push myself to go and do it. I feel so much better after. like the movement of the energy through your body and the release of all those feelings that are trapped on your body. It's insane how this works, and it works, right? It's not
Mhm.
only about sitting down and working through a meditation. I agree with you 100%. Moving your body brings a lot of benefits when it comes to creativity.
Do you feel that it also helps the creativity flow better as well?
Yes, every time I go on a walk, I come back with way more ideas that when I left. They all like you see something different, you see something unexpected, and it is your body. You like unless you are walking through like unless something happens during the walk, the goal is that you are going to come back more relaxed, and relaxation invites creativity.
Mm.
So why not?
We've covered so much, and there has been so much information on this in this podcast for someone that's looking to bring more curiosity and creativity into their lives. Is there anything else you feel you need to add to someone that's embarking on this journey for the first time?
Yes, I would say be kind to yourself because sometimes we want the results right away. I am that kind of person. I used to be merciless with myself, my hardest critic, and that's not how you invite creativity in your life. You get to hug yourself, hold yourself, let yourself know that you are okay no matter what, because creativity only flows from safety. You cannot be in war with yourself and expect flowers. You get to sit down, hug yourself, let yourself cry a little if you need. Release a little bit of resentment. Release tension. And when you are a little bit calmer, then you get to create. Be kind because things are not going to come right away. But if you are patient and you are kind with yourself, you're going to see the difference.
That's a very powerful insight. I've never heard it put that way. That, what did you say? Creativity only flows from safety. But when you say it, it makes so much sense because
I think this was a download because I didn't think about it. I just think.
beautiful, beautiful. If people want to find out more about you or they love this conversation and they want to continue it with you, where can people find you, Lillian?
They can find me on at liliansantini.com, and they can also find me at figments.club, where that's the place where I write, where I post my music, where I post my diary series. So you can find me there. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I will also link those two links in the description or the show notes wherever you're listening. Yeah, lovely, lovely story, Lillian. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing today.
Thank you.
If you live in Windsor-Essex County area, then you should know that I host an open mic live storytelling event the last Saturday of every month at Aloe Lounge on Erie Street in Little Italy from 5 to 7 p.m. If you don't know what open mic storytelling is, well, I encourage anyone to come up and share their story. We have different themes every month. The event celebrates connection, our humanness, our emotions. It gives us space to really express ourselves and to have people listen because I feel like we don't really get too much of this anymore. It is essentially a gathering of the souls and sharing a little part of ourselves with each other, whether it be a funny story, a sad story, a happy story, a romantic story, any story that is yours, you can share. And I'm loving the community that is coming from this event. So come to the event. I hope to see you there. You can purchase tickets at www.talesofthetown.ca.